Hello everyone and welcome to Spot. In this video we're gonna talk about how to make a budget Trapsin character. And let's go ahead and get into it. So all I've got here is my own level 88 Trapsin assassin, and we're gonna have a review of her. So I'm gonna show you how I've made her and what she's capable of. And now, first we're gonna have a look over the advanced stats of the character, just to get a brief idea what it's looking like at the moment in the current stage she is. So we're running nearly 200% extra gold from monsters with the current setup, just shy over 100 magic find. So we got the Geet charm and we're reducing vendor prices. We got damage reduction by 10%, attackers take damage of 23, which got a chance to mini stun an opponent whenever he attacks us, and attack speed increased 20%, 56% faster unwoke, 110 faster hit recovery, 60% faster cast rate, half freeze duration, and 10 magic absorb. So as you can see, our life pool is almost 1.4k, which is quite low to be honest, but again this is a budget build and a budget character. Our damage is just about 5.7k on a lightning sentry trap and 2.2k on a shockwave. And our resistances are capped out at 75. We got a 31% chance to block, and that's how our character sheet looks like. Now I'm gonna show you and explain you how I've built the character and the way I've spent the skill points. So in the martial arts tab we got absolutely nothing. Let's get into shadow disciplines. So in here I've got everything at a single point being spent, apart from the Shadow Warrior, which is maxed out at level 20. She's quite helpful because she's mimicking the main skills you're using in battle, and she's also a meat shield and she's quite tanky. If you can see, her life is about 2.2k, so she's quite tankier than my character itself. So in terms of damage, she outputs a lot, copying my lightning sentry traps and whatever. In terms of survivability, she's really tanky and provides a decent enough meat shield for me and my mercenary, and whenever she's about to die I just recast her, so she's really helpful. The other skills in here are just one hit wonders, so the main one you will need to use is the burst of speed. That's an extremely good skill for the assassin and the trap assassin mainly, because it gives you not only movement and running speed but attack speed increase, and Trapsin assassin is relying on the attack speed increase so she can lay down her traps faster. She doesn't rely as much on a faster cast rate, and she mainly needs attack speed to lay down her traps quicker. And in terms of faster cast rate, you benefit whenever you got an enigma and you start teleporting around. And if you support your traps, let's say in a PvP scenario with excuse me, with the Mind Blast skill, this skill can benefit quite a lot from having a higher, faster cast rate on your character. But anyway, that's the way I've leveled up the skills, and let's go ahead and show you the trap skills now. In here, you mainly want to focus on maxing out the lightning sentry trap, which is going to be your primary attack, and then the death sentry trap, which is going to be very useful in large PVM scenarios where you just made a kill and you turn that kill into a corpse explosion using the death sentry trap, and this can clean a large portion of enemies at once, and it's very helpful. especially against lightning immune monsters. You can take them out using the Death Sentry skill. Then I've maxed out the Shockwave because it's a synergy for the Lightning Sentry skill. And after that I started spending my remaining skill points into the Charge Bolt Sentry, because that's the other sentry for the Lightning Sentry skill, and the more points you put into it, the higher damage you get on the Lightning Sentry skill. So our damage is not that high compared to a pure Trapsin, which haven't used 20 skills to level up Shadow, for example, but I definitely like to do that, and I prefer to utilize the Shadow skill and have higher survivability than a little bit higher damage and being running around like a glass cannon pretty much. So that's the way I like to do it. Now I'm gonna explain you why my strength and dexterity are so high and the way I've leveled up the distribution points. So when I started this character, the game was just released, so no one of the players pretty much had any access to any high-end gear or charms like Nihilus or Hellfire Torch, for example. So you wanna primarily add up strength to 156. That's the strength requirement for you to put on a Spirit Shield in a Monarch base. That's why you wanna raise it up a little bit. And the dexterity, I had some leveled up because I was using a claw weapon before I had my spirits set up, and they require a lot of dexterity, but you also benefit from the dexterity stats because it gives you a little bit of higher block percentage chance, and this can increase the survivability of your character. And I've put absolutely nothing into energy because I'm using Act 2 Mercenary with an Insight level 17 meditation aura provided, so I don't really need to consume or any mana potions or worry about the mana at all. And the rest of my stats I spent into Vitality to try to get a little bit of better life pool, and as high as we can get it. Now let's have a look onto our inventory. So the previous video I've made was to try to explain you guys what's the important part of having a Hellfire Torch in inventory and carry it around with you. And that's the best charm I got at the moment. So let's have a look at the rest of the charms I'm using. So I got a bunch of charms with faster run walk. So this one is 5% faster run walk, 24 mana, 5% faster run walk, 6 mana, 5% faster run walk, 30 defense, 5% faster run walk plane, 3% faster run walk, 3% faster run walk, and the rest just some life and few resistance charms, as well as Geet's Fortune Grand Charm. This one is a very helpful charm. If you can find it or trade for it, definitely do it. And yeah, the reason I've been stacking on a movement speed and faster run walk, that's simply because this extremely benefit the Trapsin assassin. So the faster you run, the more survivability you get, and that's why, for this reason, I try to stack on movement speed as much as I can, because you can get in and out of battle as simple as that, especially combining that high mobility with some other skills in the assassin arsenal. I'm gonna talk about it a bit later. So now we're gonna have an overview of our inventory, and I'm gonna explain you why I decided to make these choices and why I'm running this exact setup. And I haven't had too much time to spend with the game. Basically, I've been playing on and off for like a few hours through the past 2 weeks and such. And yet again, I've leveled up to level 88, and I've gathered decent enough equipment where I can do pretty much quite a lot of the game content with this very character. I can do chaos runs, for example, I can do Hell Chaos runs, I can do bear runs, a little bit harder but still possible. And yeah, can do Ancient Tunnels runs, can farm Assassin, can farm Andario, can farm Travinco, can farm a lot of places basically. Ancient Tunnels, the Pits, the Forgotten Towers, and things like that. Can also farm a little bit of Act 5. Of course you're limited to a few areas which they're having a lot of lightning immunes, but yet again it's possible to deal with them if you take a bit of time to just play a bit more carefully. And now let's discuss our inventory and gear. So what I'm running at the moment is a spirit setup of sword and a shield, just to get that decent boost to vitality, mana, resistances, faster cast rate, faster hit recovery, and again the 4 to all skills combined is a really decent boost. I've also managed to find Shaco doing pit runs on Hell difficulty, Act 1, with a lot of magic find being stacked on the character on the previous setup. I believe I was running about 300 and something magic find when I found it. Then I've soaked it up with a perfect topaz just to get a little bit of extra magic find with it. So the Shaco itself is a really nice helmet, 2 to all skills again, 2 to all attributes, decent boost to life and mana, as well as 10% damage reduction, which is really helpful, and quite a lot of better magic finds with it. Now the rest of the inventory is very interesting. A lot of people might never use this, but I swear it's a really decent gear, especially for a budget Trapsin. So what I've also found in the pits is this Bull Katos ring, which is also quite helpful, 1 to all skills and quite a lot of life on the side. The other ring I'm using is definitely nothing special, just a little bit of magic find and extra gold with quite a significant boost to lightning resist from it. And now let's go ahead and show you the main set which I'm wearing. That's gonna be the Disciple set. Very simple set, quite easy to find. You can definitely find it in about a week time with a character with around 200 magic find, just playing the game and running on different places. Every now and then a piece of this set is gonna pop out just from killing bosses or act bosses or whatever. It's a very easy set to obtain, and yet again it can be quite beneficial, especially early on and for some character builds like the Trapsin Assassin, for example. I'm gonna explain you why. So the boots, if you take a look at the boots, they're nothing special. 30% faster run walk. Again, the more faster run walk you put on your Trapsin, the higher survivability you get and the better. So currently with this setup I'm not running a cannot be frozen mode, but we're still having half freeze duration coming from the boots, which is also helpful whenever you get frozen. It only halves the amount of time. Now let's go ahead and talk about the belt from this set. So the belt itself, 10 strength, 10 to dexterity, decent enough stat bonus boost, and all resistance 15, that's quite a significant amount. Armor itself quite crappy, it provides quite higher defense and a little bit of fire resistance, so nothing special there. The gloves, why the gloves are good for a Trapsin? So as I've already said, the quicker you are in terms of attack speed, the quicker you're gonna lay down those traps, and that's why you need that attack speed increase boost. And those 20% increased attack speed are coming in handy whenever you start laying down those traps. You can do them much quicker with it. There's also a 50% fire resist coming in addition from those gloves, which is also helping us significantly. And if you take a look at our resistances, they're all capped out at 75, simply because this complete set provides us with really good resistance boost. Now let's have a look on the amulet. 1 to all skills, and again resistances, and some attackers take damage. So the whole set, what it gives us is 3-0 skills combined from the set options and the amulet, as well as if you take a look. Now let's talk about the resistances bonuses. So we have 50 resistances coming from completing the set. Then we got another 24 fire resist coming from the armor, 50 fire resist coming from the gloves on the top of that, another 15 resistance coming from the belt. Then we got another 18 cold and 42 poison resist coming from the amulet. And that's it. That's an amazing boost to all resistances. Then we also got additional defense, 150 defense, which is quite a decent chunk. 100 to mana, really decent bonus. That's why our mana pool is quite high, and yet again we haven't spent a single point into energy. And that's the gear basically. Very nice and very cheap set for early Trapsin to use and wear. Now, what I've been running before finding those pieces on my character and that gear. Basically, first I've been trying to stock up on a magic find. So, what you can do in this situation, before I had my shackle, I've been running those two pieces combined together. So if you take a look, those two are very nice pieces for having extreme amounts of magic find. In the shield slot, I've been wearing a Rhine shield, which is also providing us with additional 25% of magic item find. Before I found my World Traveler boots, I've been using dual resistance boots with additional magic find and gold find on them. I've also had those chance guards. I found them on nightmare difficulty as far as I remember. So we also have these. And I found this amulet also on nightmare difficulty, which is quite nice. A lot of magic find and gold find. So this was the magic find setup I've been running. And if you take a look, we're just about 300 magic find with this very simple setup, and that's how I've been able to grind in the pits and into the ancient tunnels and etc. and find myself a better gear eventually to replace those crappy pieces. And this is also a very nice armor which I've been carrying in all hell difficulty as a temporal resistance solution to the problem, where you got minus all resistances on hell difficulty. This is a very nice armor to make early on and wear to negafy that. So basically that's how I've been able to gather up all those pieces and complete the whole set and make this a little bit better of a setup for this character. And again, that's why this Disciple set is very nice early on, especially for making a Trapsin assassin. Our resistances are capped out at 75. We have decent enough defense. If you take a look, the Quill Rat have a chance to hit us about 53%, which is not 95, which is very helpful. Then on the top of that we got 31% chance to block, and I'm also using the Cloak of Shadows skill, which is very helpful. Now I'm gonna show you how capable the character is in action. So let's go ahead and go on to the very first waypoint of Act 5, Hell difficulty. So here we are. And what I like to do during those runs is just spawn 5 traps around here and wait till they're doing their job. Eventually spawn a Death Sentry trap to carry for the rest of the remaining monsters. So we got nothing interesting this time, apart from those boots, which are nothing special. So let's go ahead and kill Shank now. So with Shank is pretty much the same thing. Just come around, A lot of the times there are quite a few archers in this area, so what I like to do is just run around and use the Block of Shadows skill, and this negates their attacks simply because the monsters cannot see you and they just move around, not attacking anything for the duration of the Block of Shadows skill. Now let's go ahead and kill Pindoskin. And you can start doing Pindoskin with the Trapsin character very early on. They're really easy for this build. And you can do them with absolutely no gear at all, so you can benefit significantly from running a lot of Magic Find, like the Magic Find setup I showed you. And this way you can find a lot of interesting pieces in terms of gear running Pindoskin. And it's extremely efficient to run for Pindoskin because he's always there, he's always found there, you don't have to look for him, you don't have to search for him. It's quite easy to kill, and as long as you are stacked on a lot of Magic Find percentage, you can definitely get some really decent drops out of him. And what else to show you? Maybe example of a Chaos run. This is gonna take a while, but again it's very doable with our Trapsin build. So here are some minions and a minion group. Again, I'm utilizing the Block of Shadow skill, and as you can see the monsters are not even attacking me. So this is very helpful. So those Abyss Knights are quite a problem because they're immune to lightning, but my mercenary can take them down, and Death Entry Trap as well. That's the way I'm dealing with them. It takes a little bit of time and effort to get to the Chaos Sanctuary, but eventually we'll get there. Okay. Let's give a potion to the mercenary. And as you can see, we're on Hell difficulty Act 4, going forward quite easily. We don't have to worry that much about the monster's attacks because I'm utilizing the Block of Shadow skill, which is very helpful, as I've already said. Really nice charm here. 5 to strength on a large charm, I definitely like that. Okay, let's go ahead now. And that's how we've made it to the Chaos Sanctuary. Now, as long as we're here, we have to be a little bit more careful as the monsters are a bit more stronger. And again, we're taking advantage of our Death Entry Trap skill. So here we go. So you can't really tank the monsters with the Trapsin. What you want to do is lay down those traps and just start running around like that, so the monsters can't hit you and your traps are slowly wearing them down to that point where you can start exploding the corpses with the Death Entry Trap, and you just clear the whole room doing it. Okay, let's progress further. So, whenever I'm doing chaos runs on my own, basically I find a decent amount of rooms as well as some gear eventually. Again, I have to be a bit more careful. And I'm also gonna show you my mercenary setup. It's really decent, I'd say. Let's give it a potion again. So my mercenary is Act 2, defensive mercenary, running the Holy Freeze aura. Using him as a crowd control really helps with the monsters. And then he's also equipped with Insight made in a Colossus Vogue base. Not the best one. Ideally you wanna focus finding an ethereal one, but that's the one which I've been able to find for the time being. Then the helmet, I use the Face of Horror mask, because he can't really wear the weapon without it, as the strength requirement is very high on that base. and that's also one of the reasons why you want it to be ethereal, as it requires less strength. But this mask is also quite nice, 50% damage to undead increase, that's really decent, and hit causes monsters to flee 50%, this can also be helpful. We also got 20 strength bonus, which is decent amount of damage increase, and all resistance is 10. As you can see, his resistances are also capped at 75, his defense is very high at 4000 and above, and the armor he's wearing is that very nice ethereal Kraken shell base stone runeward, and if you take a look, this provides a significant amount of defense. 2.7k defense. It's a cheap runeward, only requires and pool in terms of higher runes, and yet again is very strong and can definitely provide significant amount of survivability to a mercenary. That's how he's rocking that high amount of defense, and he's also wearing those resistances at 75. He's having a decent amount of faster hit recovery, so he doesn't get stun blocked. He just carries on smashing those monsters. And he's also doing a nice amount of damage, just a little bit over 2k. He's also helping us in the whole situation. So let's go ahead and just clear the rest of the monsters. So here we are. As you can see, Cloak of Shadows skill, very useful again. And that's it, pretty much. That's how we progress further. Lay down those traps, running around, not to get hit by the monsters. Leave the mercenary in the shadow to do the tanking job, and then whenever there are enough corpses, you just start laying down those death engine traps. You make sure you utilize the Cloak of Shadows skill, so you're almost invisible for the monsters, and this is providing you with significant survivability. So we've cleared the first group. Let's go ahead and clear the next group, which is gonna be War Disease. Now recasting our shadow, because he was about to die. Cloak of Shadow skill neutralizes the enemies and make them stay in place. Running around, try to make sure our mercenary doesn't die. And again, just make sure there are enough of corpses so we can start using the death sentry trap. That's it pretty much. So we've cleared those monsters. Let's go ahead. Cloak of Shadows. Whenever you see a large group of enemies on the screen, laying traps down on ground and just wait for the pops and bangs to happen. Same story. Clear the rest of the monsters. Recast the Shadow Warrior. Every now and then you have to recast the Burst of Speed. Okay, let's kill the Doom Knights. They're quite easy with this build and setup. Okay, so we got Lord Disease dead. How easy was that? Let's go ahead. And the hardest fight with this build is gonna be dealing with the bunch of the Venom Wars down there, but it's also doable. Cloak of Shadows. Sentry, start popping all those corpses. So it's all this simple. It's all very simple and just a bit repetitive. And you have to maneuver around quite a lot. So let's go ahead and spawn the Venom Wards. It's not very good that we're cursed at the moment with amplified damage, but I'll try to make sure we don't die. So let's kill the rest of these. And now we're gonna spawn the Venom Wards. So Cloak of Shadows. pounding traps, throwing shockwave, and utilizing the Mind Blast skill to convert some of the monsters so we don't get fried immediately. And just pop the rest of them with the Death Sentry trap. Okay, the mercenary nearly died, but we gave him a full rejuvenation potion. So here comes Diablo now. Let's go ahead and kill him. So you can utilize those traps from a distance, and that's very easy. As you can see, you just stand all the way back here and just cast those traps up in the corner of your screen, and they'll just attack Diablo whenever he's pounding his pentagram in the center. So that's a very easy way to kill him without him even interact with you. And there we go. That's how we kill Diablo without even seeing him on the screen and without him even being able to hit us at all. We got nothing exciting in terms of drops, but I hope you got a decent idea what this build is capable of. The next thing which I'm gonna focus is to get myself a CTA for the swapped weapon and start buffing myself and make the character even stronger, and then eventually I'll start looking to replace those set pieces with Enigma and things like that, like making the high-end build version of this character. And I think that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you get the better idea of how to make and develop your own assassin Trapsin character, and the way to progress in the game, what terms of gear you're gonna need, what terms of stats you wanna focus on, how to survive in battle and things like that. So we've talked about all of that, and that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. Drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe me, help the channel grow, and see you later. Bye!